January 2021. Schiphol Airport, Amsterdam. A quiet, unremarkable man in his late 50s steps off a flight from Taiwan, Canadian passport in hand. He does not look like a drug lord. He looks like someone's uncle. But the Dutch police are already waiting. His name is Tse Chi Lop, and according to the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, he controlled somewhere between 40 and 70% of all wholesale methamphetamine moving through the Asia-Pacific region. His annual revenue, somewhere between $8 and $17.7 billion. UNO, DC. Investigators put him in the same category as El Chapo, maybe Pablo Escobar. But here's the thing that separates Tse Chi Lop from every cartel boss you have ever heard of. When they arrested him, nothing stopped. No empire collapsed. No chain of command fractured. Within weeks, his operation was running exactly the same way it had before, because Tse Chi Lop did not run an organization. He ran a franchise, and you cannot shut down a franchise by arresting one man. To understand how that is possible, you have to go back more than 260 years. The origin story Triads tell about themselves is a myth and a deliberate one. People say 5 Shaolin monks survived a Qing dynasty massacre, swore blood oaths to overthrow the Manchu rulers and to restore the Ming dynasty. It is a powerful recruitment narrative, but the truth is more ordinary. Archival research from Qing dynasty court documents established that the Tian Dihui, the Heaven and Earth Society, was actually founded in 1761 in Fujian Province. It was not founded by warrior monks. It was founded by local men who ran a mutual aid brotherhood, a support network for migrants and laborers. Nothing more. What turned it into a criminal empire was the loss of its purpose. For over a century, the secret societies had a political mission: resist the Qing. When the Qing dynasty finally fell in 1911, that mission evaporated overnight. The organizations that had sustained themselves on sympathetic donations and revolutionary fervor had to find new revenue, so they turned to crime. By the 1920s and the 1930s, Du Yuesheng of Shanghai's Green Gang was earning $108 million a year from drugs and gambling alone, roughly $1.4 billion in today's money. He massacred Communist Party members on behalf of Chiang Kai-shek. Sun Yat-sen himself was a senior member of the Hong Min Network. This was organized crime operating at the level of the state. Then in 1949, Mao won. The communists did something no Chinese government had managed in 200 years. They actually suppressed the Triads on the mainland. The society scattered. They went to Hong Kong, where an estimated 300,000 members had settled by the early 1950s. They went to Macau. They went to Taiwan. And from those bases they rebuilt, not as one organization, but as dozens. At its peak, Hong Kong alone had 58 registered triad groups. The Big Five were Sun Yee-on, with 25,000 or more members, 14K, with 20,000 members across more than 30 subgroups, Big Circle Gang, with no formal structure at all, Bamboo Union, with 10,000 to 20,000 in Taiwan, and Wo Xing Wo, with up to 70,000 at its height, each with different origins, different specializations, different territories. Collectively, they spanned every inhabited continent on Earth, forming a truly global network. And here is what makes them fundamentally different from anything you have seen in Western organized crime. The Italian Mafia is a pyramid, a boss at the top, an underboss beneath him, capo regimes running crews, and soldiers following orders. Take out the boss, and the family stumbles. That is exactly what RICO was designed to exploit, and it worked. Triads are the opposite. Triads are a franchise. Independent chapters share a brand name, share rituals, and share recognition codes, but answer to no central authority. Take out a triad dragon head and nothing changes. The other cells keep operating. They do not even notice. So here is how it actually works. Every rank in a triad society is identified by a numerical code, and every code, when you add the digits and reduce them, comes back to the number 3. The sacred triad number represents the union of heaven, earth, and humanity. The 489 is the Shan Chu, the dragon head, the supreme leader. But here is the twist. The dragon head does not live like a boss. He runs a small business, keeps a low profile, and makes himself nearly impossible to identify. The 438 is the deputy, also called the incense master, who conducts initiation rituals. Some intelligence analysts believe the 438 actually wields more day-to-day power than the dragon head himself. The 426 is the red pole, the military commander and the enforcer. He leads anywhere from 15 to 50 soldiers. The 415 is the white paper fan, the financial brain, the accountant, the advisor. The 432 is the straw sandal, the liaison officer who communicates between cells and negotiates with other triad groups. And the 49 is the ordinary member, the rank and file. 4 times 9 equals 36, the number of sacred oaths every member swears. Relationships between members flow through what they call Dai Lo and Sai Lo. Big brother and little brother, loyalty goes up, protection comes down. And when a society wants to expand, an officer holding the 438 double flower rank travels to the new territory and replicates the entire structure from scratch. New dragon head, new red pole, new white paper fan, same brand, complete autonomy. The result is a network with no single point of failure. Members in one cell do not know members in another. The loss of one chapter does not affect the rest. As criminologist Colin Chin concluded after years of fieldwork, there is no empirical support for the belief that there is a well-organized, monolithic, hierarchical criminal cartel called the Chinese Mafia. There isn't one. There are hundreds. The glue that holds it together isn't a command structure, it's ritual. Traditionally, initiation was a multi-day ceremony conducted at an altar dedicated to Guan Yu, the deified Three Kingdoms general who embodies loyalty and righteousness. Candidates removed their shoes, bared their chests, passed through gates made of crossed swords, jumped over a pit of fire, and donned white robes symbolizing rebirth. They swore the 36 oaths, each specifying death by 1,000 sword cuts for betrayal. A rooster was beheaded as a warning. Its blood was mixed with wine, cinnabar, and incense ashes. The candidate pricked his finger, added his own blood, and drank. Then the bowl was smashed. That is your fate if you break the oath. Modern reality. Most initiations take about 15 minutes. Recruits swear the oaths, and that's it. When Hong Kong police busted a traditional ceremony in Sham Shui Po in November 2017, officers described it as the first such discovery in over a decade. And here is a detail that tells you everything about the triad world. Both Hong Kong police stations and triad lodges keep shrines to Guan Yu. The cops and the criminals pray to the same god. Now, the money, because this is where the franchise model stops being an abstraction and becomes a machine. The single largest revenue stream is methamphetamine, the SAM, Gore, Syndicate, an alliance forged by Tse Chi Lop that brought together members of all 5 major triad groups, 14K, Sun Yi On, Woshing Wo, Big Circle Gang, and Bamboo Union controlled the Asia-Pacific wholesale meth market, UNOAD. estimated Sam Gore's annual meth revenue alone at $8 to $17.7 billion. In 2024, a record 236 tons of methamphetamine were seized in East and Southeast Asia. That was a 24% increase over the year before. Most of it was manufactured in Myanmar's Shan state in labs that operate like factories. But the fastest growing stream is not drugs, it is cyber fraud. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime estimated $18 to $37 billion in losses from online scams targeting East and Southeast Asian victims in 2023. The United States Institute of Peace puts global pig butchering scam revenue at $63.9 billion that same year. Cambodia's scam industry alone generates approximately $12.5 billion annually, half the country's official GDP. Over 220,000 people are estimated to be held as forced laborers in fortified compounds across Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos. They are trafficked through fake job ads, locked inside, and forced to work 12 to 16-hour days running romance and investment scams on targets around the world. Wan Kwok Khoi's Dongmei Group invested in Myanmar's Sexigang industrial zone, one of the very first scam compound operations. Then there is Macau. At its peak, the gaming industry generated $38 billion a year. 75% of VIP revenue flowed through junket operators, intermediaries who recruited wealthy mainland Chinese clients, extended credit, and helped them dodge China's $50,000 capital export limit. The largest junket, Sun City Group, controlled 45 to 50% of the market, with a monthly gambling turnover of $17 billion. Its founder, Alvin Chow, identified by Australian authorities as a 14K member, was convicted in January 2023 and sentenced to 18 years for handling approximately $100 billion in illegal wagers. His arrest collapsed the junket industry almost overnight. In Vancouver, Canada, Triads laundered an estimated $4 billion per year through British Columbia. The Cullen Commission found that over $7 billion was laundered in the province in 2018 alone. The method was elegant. Fentanyl precursors from Guangdong arrive in Vancouver. Street sales generate cash. The cash, literally stuffed into hockey bags of $20 bills, gets laundered through casinos. Underground banks wire the cleaned funds back to China. The money returns as investment in luxury real estate. The commission found this cycle caused 7.5% inflation in Vancouver housing prices. Meanwhile, the fentanyl epidemic it fueled killed more than 1,400 British Columbians in 2017 alone. Overseas, the 14K Triad supplies precursor chemicals directly to Mexico's Sinaloa cartel. A former U.S. investigator put it bluntly, the 14K Triad is the dominant triad in partnership with the Sinaloa drug cartel. But the most remarkable protection system isn't bribes or violence. It's the relationship between Chinese triads and Beijing itself, and that relationship is complicated because the Chinese Communist Party simultaneously cracks down on organized crime domestically and leverages triad networks abroad. During the 2014 Umbrella Movement, masked men with alleged 14K and Wo Xingwo links attacked pro-democracy protesters in Mongkok. Researchers at Oxford concluded the attackers were low-level triad affiliates paid to do it. During the 2019 Yuen Long attack, more than 100 men, including identified 14K and Wo Xingwo members, attacked protesters and bystanders at an MTR station, hospitalizing 45 people. Police took over an hour to respond. And yet, Xi Jinping's sweeping black campaign, launched in January 2018, has prosecuted thousands. Authorities swept away 100 mafia organizations, destroyed 1,129 criminal groups, froze 4.9 billion renminbi in illegal assets, and removed 42,700 village cadres affiliated with gangs. The Brookings Institution captured the paradox perfectly in their 2024 analysis. Even as China prides itself on its tough anti-crime policies, Beijing rarely acts against the top echelons of Chinese criminal syndicates, especially those who also service Chinese authorities' objectives. The Belt and Road Initiative has provided cover for triad expansion across Southeast Asia. Myanmar's Shui Koko mega project, marketed as Belt and Road Initiative Development, was run by a fugitive from Chinese law enforcement and housed over 10,000 workers engaged in online gambling and crypto scams. After Myanmar's coup in February 2021, it only got worse. Every system reveals itself by what it built, and what triads have built spans every inhabited continent. In the United States, DEA agents learned that around 2019, triad bosses were traveling from China to New York for sit-down, face-to-face meetings to issue directives for nationwide illegal marijuana operations. Operation Smoking Dragon, a 3-year FBI investigation concluding in 2005, indicted 87 individuals for offenses that included methamphetamine distribution and conspiracy to import Chinese-made surface-to-air missiles. In the United Kingdom, the 14K has controlled Chinese restaurant networks since the post-war period and took full control of heroin importation into the Benelux countries by 1987. In Australia, Sam Gore supplied up to 70% of all illegal drugs entering the country, recruiting the Comanchero and Satudara motorcycle gangs for street-level distribution. And then there are the faces. Wan Kwok Koi, known as Broken Tooth, lost 9 teeth in a street fight as a teenager. He rose through the 14K ranks. He took control of Macau's VIP casino rooms. He waged a turf war so bloody he made a movie about himself, shutting down the Macau Taipa Bridge for hours to film it. He was arrested in 1998 and sentenced to 15 years. He was released in 2012 and immediately pivoted to cryptocurrency. His Dragon Coin initial coin offering reportedly raised $320 million. The U.S. Treasury sanctioned him under the Global Magnitsky Act in December 2020. As of 2024, he was photographed visiting the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone in Laos. Free. Still building. Tse Chi Lop, former Big Circle gang member. He served 9 years in a U.S. prison for heroin trafficking. He came out and forged Sam Gore, the super syndicate that flooded the Asia-Pacific region with cheap methamphetamine. He was arrested at Schiphol in January 2021 after a decade-long investigation involving more than 20 agencies. He was extradited to Australia and sentenced in December 2025 to 16 years. Critics called the sentence light. Given what he built, they may be right. And Charles Hung. Charles Hung is the 10th of 13 children of Sun Yi, on founder Hung Chin. He built China Star Entertainment into one of Hong Kong's most powerful film companies. He launched the careers of Stephen Chow, Jet Li, and Andy Lau. A 1992 U.S. Senate investigation identified him as a top Sun Yi-on office bearer. Canada rejected his visa, citing evidence linking him to the society's ruling council. He has never been convicted. He acknowledges his family has a mafia background. He denies personal involvement. Could you really dismantle an organization that has no center? Tell me how you do it. Drop it in the comments. But this system isn't standing still. It never has been. Tse Chi Lop was sentenced in December 2025. Sam Gore continues operating. In November 2025, Hong Kong police dismantled a 1.1 billion Hong Kong dollars Sun Yuan gambling and money laundering network. Operation Thunderbolt 2025, a joint Hong Kong-Guangdong Macau initiative, arrested 4,140 persons and seized assets worth 548 million Hong Kong dollars. In Taiwan, Bamboo Union co-founder Chang On-lo came under investigation in February 2025 for alleged fentanyl trade connections with the Sinaloa cartel. In January 2025, the kidnapping of Chinese film star Wang Xing into Myanmar's Chapo Park compound generated unprecedented mainland Chinese government attention and triggered joint Chinese-Thai crackdowns on border operations. And UNODC reports that scam compound operations are now spreading beyond Southeast Asia to Pacific Islands, to Africa, to anywhere weak governance and cheap labor intersect. The franchise model adapts. It always has. Opium to heroin, heroin to methamphetamine, methamphetamine to cyber fraud to cryptocurrency laundering. Each evolution is faster than the last. Each evolution is harder to trace. Each is more profitable than what came before. Somewhere in Myanmar's Shan state right now, a new compound is being built. In Vancouver, cash still moves through underground banks in denominations so small no algorithm catches it. In Hong Kong, police recorded 1,944 triad-related crimes in 2025, a 16.4% decrease from the year before. But the activity isn't shrinking. It's moving online, offshore, beyond reach. The franchise doesn't die. It relocates. 260 years of adaptation. What Triads built isn't an organization. It's an operating system. And you can't arrest an operating system. Sam Gore is still running without its architect. Wan Kwok Koi is still free, still photographed in economic zones that exist in legal gray areas between nations. The next evolution has already begun, and nobody's sure what it looks like yet.